some reason the power went out this morning, so we're having to cook our breakfast a little old school today. Got it kicking over the wood stove here. It's a cold, frosty morning. I think the thermometer is saying about 7 degrees, if I remember right. So the first thing I'm gonna do today is hop on the side-by-side and run down to the field where the cows are at and just see how they're doing, check on the grass and see what they're picking away at. I'll probably take down another mineral tub and maybe a block of salt if they need it, and we'll just check on things. Let's see if I can pick this up by hand. These tubs weigh a couple hundred pounds, and I just don't really want to start a piece of equipment this morning with how cold it's been. See, the slough's already starting to ice up. Looking around the edge of the slough here, you can see how much this tall grass they've eaten. So they worked this over pretty well here. You can see the frost on the grass there. Kind of gives you an idea on how frosty it was this morning. So I don't know how well the camera picks up everything, but all the cows are spread out across these fields of grazing, which is a pretty good sign, really. You know, if they're all up at the gate bellering, you know they're getting hungry, but with them being pretty content out here grazing, seems like they're still doing all right down here. So these cows still have about half a block of salt left over there, so I'm not gonna give them the salt yet. But it does look like the mineral tubs are out, these protein tubs. So I'll dump this one off and we'll do a little bit of drive around and see what things are looking like. Then looking at the weather for the rest of this week, it looks really nice. At least no big snowstorms coming through, it looks like. Temperatures aren't super warm, but you know, pretty nice for this time of year. It looks like mid to upper 30s for the daytime highs, and then single digits and teens for the lows, which isn't too bad at all. Then looking at next week, it looks like we start getting into a little bit more snow and some colder temperatures. So just walking around here, you can kind of see what the cows are working with here. They scrape by some of the snow and get down to some of this grass and the feed that's below it. There's still, seems like still a decent amount of snow, or decent amount of feed in here. They just got to work a little bit for it. So you guys can see how light and dry this snow is, and it's actually settled quite a bit since last week. And if you come down here a little bit further in some of these swales where there's some good second growth on this grass, you know, you just kick some of the snow away. And you see how much feed there still is here, and there's still even a little bit of green if you dig far enough. I don't know how you can see that on camera, but there's still a little bit of green down in here. You just move that snow away. Yeah, there's still quite a bit of feed. So hopefully we can get through maybe the rest of this week down here in these fields, and maybe next week when we actually start getting some more snow, depending on how big these storms are, I'll show you where we're gonna go next with these cows. So this is where we'll come next with these cows once we either get buried by snow or they eat all this feed out of these hay fields here. We're gonna come down here into the river pasture. I'm sure some of you guys have been, you know, watching the channel for quite a while, or familiar with the river pasture here. So we did cut and bale a good amount of this river pasture here, but we've got a lot of these willows kind of on the outskirts of this pasture piece here, and we don't cut and bale in there because it's not worth it. You can't get in between the willows and it would just be a mess even trying. So there's a lot of feed back in these willows here. So you can see all this tall standing dead grass, but just looking here right in front of the side-by-side, well, there's just mounds of grass down here. Hopefully the camera kind of does it justice and just shows you how it's setting. So the snow has kind of laid it flat, but there's still some of it exposed. And that's all these cows need, is just a little bit of exposed grass, and they'll start eating. And then as they start eating, they just dig up the rest of it, and away they go. And look at all that. And that's what it looks like all through here. All through these willows, up to the north. Same thing going down to the south. So there's quite a bit of feed down in here, and even if we get a bit more snow next week, I think they still shouldn't have a problem getting to some of this. It's not the most nutritional feed, but that's why we try to keep these protein and mineral tubs in front of them, just to make sure they're getting enough protein and all the nutrients they need. And the same thing, you just walk back here through these willows and all this grass. So there's a pretty good picture of what I'm talking about, how this grass is all just kind of lodged, pulled up as the snow gets deeper, and just hoping that they'll be able to come through here and pull it up and keep grazing. So I just ran over here to check on this electric fence that runs along the river here. You can see how this grass has gotten laid over by the weight of the snow. We're kind of pulling the fence down, especially right here. So we got the top wire here, and our bottom wires covered in the snow and the grass here. So we'll come through here and try to get this grass off the wires. So I'll just walk along this electric fence here that we got on the north side of the pasture, then I'll run down to the south side and check on that electric fence there. We've got another one on the south side. Well, I'm glad I came over here and checked this section of the fence, because it was pretty much down on the ground from the grass pulling it down with the weight of the snow. So with winter starting to take hold, we're coming into one of my favorite times of the year. Fall's my favorite season, but this time of year is probably my favorite time of year, just because all of our major projects are getting done. Like, we're finishing everything up. All of our hay's put up for the year. We've got all of our cows preg checked, and we sold our calves. So we're getting into a time of year where things start slowing down a little bit, and I really enjoy that. So right now, you know, we've just got our cows out here grazing on the hay fields and on pasture. So we're not having to feed yet, so that's one less chore to do during the day. We're still a couple months away from calving season, because once that starts, it's hard to focus on anything else but that. So now is kind of the time of year where you get more downtime, and it's easier to break away from the ranch and get out of here for a little bit if you want to. So with that being said, you might be wondering what's next here on the ranch this time of year, and it's pretty much just this. We'll just try to keep these cows grazing as long as we can, because the longer we don't have to feed for, you know, the better. And with the amount of cows that we kept through the winter, our hay supply is really tight this year. I even ended up buying all of Randall's hay that we put up for him. So I'm sure you guys know we ran Randall's place for him this year, and we did it on like a share basis. So he took a certain percent, and we took a certain percent. And I ended up buying the percent that Randall took for himself, so I just bought it back from him. So I bought all that hay down there. Then we've got everything up here that we put up off of our own ground. But like I said, with the amount of cows we're keeping, we're still gonna be a little bit short. So the longer we can graze them, the better. So I'll probably be having to look for some more hay here too eventually, because I'm not exactly sure how much hay we're gonna be short at all. It just depends on how long we can graze these cows for. So when I'm planning for the hay usage for the winter, I plan for a 6-month feeding season. So if we can cut that down to 5 months, we'll probably be sitting pretty good. But like I said, it all just depends on how long we can graze these cows for. And hopefully all this feed doesn't get buried too soon, and we keep moving around here to these different pastures that we've got feed stockpiled for them. And we still aren't completely all the way home with all our cows and calves. So even though we've preg checked and sold our calves, we've still got a few of them trickling in here and there. I know as our neighbors start bringing in their herds to do their own preg checking and kind of prepare themselves for winter, they're finding a few strays here and there. Like the other day we had a couple cows come off a neighbor's place. Then, you know, the other day we had 2 or 3 pair in with another neighbor's herd. So as everybody starts bringing the herds in, you keep getting a few calves and cows here and there. So as of right now, I'm still missing 3 cows and 5 calves. So I'm hoping they show up here pretty soon, because I'm not sure where to start looking for them really. So with these few cows and calves that keep trickling in, we've just been sticking them in the Quonset. And then once we get to the point where we're pretty much all the way home, hopefully we can have the vet come back and we'll preg check those last 10, 15 cows that we get home. And then same with them calves, as we build up that last little bit of calf herd, we'll sell them off here probably later in December once we got everything home. So speaking about cows coming home, my neighbors are up here preg checking their cows, and they just called me and said I've got a cow over in their bunch, so I'll run over there and grab her. I'll go. Yep. I'll go. Good go. So I'm just gonna kick this cow out here on the Idaho side. We've got the bulls out here, and we've started building a little herd of these cows that have came home after we preg checked. So we're keeping these grouped together, so whenever we get all the cows home, we can just bring them in and preg check them hopefully. So we'll just kick her out here for now. So we've got a few cows and calves in this Quonset also. And we just cut off the calves from these cows here. We're gonna kick these cows out here on the side with the rest of them, with the bulls and that. Like I said, we're just putting all the cows that haven't been preg checked out here. So that's where these 3 are gonna go for now. And we've got the 5 calves we just cut off of them that we're gonna run through the chutes and give them their vaccines and start weaning a couple of them. I think 2 of them haven't been weaned yet, but the other 3 have already been weaned. Hey cows. Hey cows. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yep. Come on, get out of here. Come on. Yep. Oh, cows. So when we had the whole herd out here before, they pretty much grazed off all the feed out here, besides a few of these weeds that are sticking up. So we've had to start feeding this little bunch of cows out here in the bulls, so they got a feeder over here they're eating on. Hey, Kiwi. I want Luffy in there. Hey, kitties. Hey, kitties. Look, gives. So we'll just keep these calves over here and just keep adding to them as we get more home. Then hopefully we get a little group put together and get them sold here before too long. Hello everyone. It's been about 4 days since I filmed last. Nothing too much has been happening. Spent a couple days working for Old Dominion driving truck, and other than that, not a whole lot. Hey, cues. So we set this tub out here on Tuesday, and it's Saturday now. So what's that? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. About 4 days. That's how much they've eaten. So they're going through about a tub every 4 days. So I brought 2 more with me on the side by side. I'm probably just going to drop off one of them, because like I was saying, that storm's supposed to be coming in, I believe, Sunday night. So with this snow coming tomorrow, what I'm going to do right now is, forgot to mention before, that we still got a little bit of feed left in this slough pasture here. So we cut and baled the north side of the slough where I cabbed my cows out last winter, but we don't really do anything on the south side of the slough because there's a lot of swales and swampy stuff. So there's quite a bit of tall grass over there. So I'm gonna open up a couple panels here, and hopefully them cows will start filtering into there and they can graze off some of that taller stuff. And that's where I'll dump these mineral tubs, is over in here, just kind of coax them in there hopefully. And I haven't really drove around through all the hayfield again yet, but just looking right through here, there's not a lot left in here. And they could pick away at it for a little bit, but if we get 4 or 5 inches of snow, I don't know that they'll have much left to eat in here. So right here in this swale, all through here, it goes up and kind of curves around right up here, and it goes the same thing, kind of curves around right down here and joins into the slough. See, it's frozen, but there's all this nice grass here right along the swale bank. So get the cows into here, there'll be plenty for them to eat here. And the same thing up here along the slough. I'll go show you along the slough what's up there. Hey, coos. Hey, coos. Hey, coos. Hey, coos. Hey, coos. Hey, coos. Hey, cows! Hey, cows! It's a little weedy right here where these cows are stopping. We didn't end up cutting this little center section because this is where those calf huts were all winter, and we were feeding right in here a lot. So, and they were in here all spring, so it got overgrazed, and there's not a lot of grass right here. But you get to the edges and there's a fair amount of grass still, and they'll find it here soon enough.
So if you look right here, you can see exactly where we cut at this summer. So this was cut and baled, and we left this over here towards the fence. So see, you got all this nice grass in here. Like I said, there's even some nice green in there too. So these cows will find this pretty soon. I'm just gonna dump this tub probably just right over here in this corner. Then they're close to this grass and they can start moseying through here. So same thing, you come here along the slough, see how frozen it's gotten already this winter. That's the only moving water is out over there. But you kick down through here along the edges and you got all this grass here, some green in it still. So there's a good amount of feed in this slough pasture for them. And as we watch them tonight, you'll see them, they'll just kind of walk along the perimeter usually. They'll get on that fence line and just walk along it and see what's here. So we just thought it'd be a good idea just to get them in here and get their bellies full before that storm starts tomorrow. Then if we get a lot of snow, at least there's some of this taller stuff in here they can keep working on too. You guys will have to excuse my voice today. We came back from Thanksgiving and everybody started getting a bit of a cold and a sniffly nose. So I think I'm coming down with a little bit of a head cold. So feel pretty good, just, you know, the nose is plugged up. So I'm gonna come over here and check this electric fence on this metal post here. So my dad and sisters have their horses over on this side, then this side's what the cows are gonna be grazing on. So just want to double check it and make sure we got something here. So there's a little bit of a pop in there. I think there's enough to at least keep them in. I don't know if the camera picks up the sound, but it's kind of cool listening to the chunks of ice float by, kind of wash against that little ice shelf right there. Yeah, so like I said, it didn't take them long to find this. Look in here and see some of that green in there still. So in case you're wondering where these cows come in and drink, if you've watched our videos the last couple winters, this is that section of the slough that I always have to keep open. So this is still pretty open right here that they can come in here and drink. And looking down this way, you can see how it freezes back up once the water starts slowing down. So they'll just have to come back out of that pasture there, over the bridge here, then come over here to drink. But it's not too far for them to walk. So the last thing I'm gonna do tonight, before I call it a night, is this. I ran down here to Randall's to get a final count on this hay that I bought from him. I tried to keep track pretty well through the summer on how many bales we kept down here for his share, but I just wanted to get an exact count and just make sure we're not shorting one or the other. So like I was saying, I bought all of Randall's hay that was his share. So it's everything that's in this hay shed. In this hay shed here. Then, I don't know how well you can see, but there's another little hay shed over there. It's probably got, I think there's about 30 3x3s and I think 15 3x4s over in that other hay shed that I bought also from him. So some of you might be wondering, why do we keep so many cows if we don't have enough hay to feed what we keep? So in our place, technically we do produce enough hay for all the cows that we are going to winter this year, but everything out of all the hay that we produce, about 40% of that we sell as horse hay. So that only leaves us with about 60% of the hay left over to get the cows through the winter. And both my dad and I have bought some more cows this year, and so we've got a little bit more cows than what we normally do to get through the winter. So that's why I'm buying a bit of extra hay from Randall, and just to not have to sell any cows. So technically we could take some of this horse hay that we have and feed it to the cows, but my dad usually gets such a good price on his horse hay that we can almost take a ton of horse hay, sell it, turn around and buy 2 tons of feeder cattle hay, and then, you know, you're sitting pretty well if you do it that way. So we don't usually try to feed this premium horse hay to the cows just because it's got so much value somewhere else. But like I was saying, even with me buying all this hay from Randall, we're still going to be short hay this year. And I guess it all depends on when we have to start feeding. So if we can keep grazing like we are and get, I don't know, 3 or 4 more extra weeks out of them, we'll be in good shape. But you never know what Mother Nature's going to do. But when I was figuring out my hay supply that we needed for the winter, I was factoring in starting to have to start feeding by December 6th. And you know, today is December 7th. We've still got quite a bit of grazing left down on our place, as long as we don't get buried by too much snow. So every day from here on out, it's just one less day we have to feed, and that much hay that we don't have to buy. And depending on how these next couple weeks go, if we don't get buried by too much snow, we've got another pasture piece down here at Randall's that's just a real willowy piece of pasture, and we don't do anything with it, like when it comes to cutting or baling hay. So there's a lot of tall grass in there in between all these willows, and a lot of shelter for these cows. So if there's not too much snow, that will be our last move. And that's why this hay down here is still down here at Randall's, because we're hoping that we'll end up down here grazing, and then when we have to start feeding, we can just start feeding this hay here at Randall's out of his sheds, instead of us having to haul all this hay up to our place. And so at least that's the idea. It all depends on Mother Nature, you know. So we'll have to see how that goes. So even if we start feeding down here, and if we still have hay down here, come about the middle of January, we're gonna go back up to our place either way, so we can get ready to start calving, because we're not gonna calve down here, we're gonna calve back up at our place this year, like we normally do. So I'm gonna end this one here. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. Have a good day.